So, just in case we're not clear, I should not be giving any advice on anything. So this is not financial advice. Anything you hear or see on this YouTube channel is more me journaling than it is anything else. So anyway, financial stuff, here we go. My paycheck gets direct deposited into my small hometown bank that I like. I have a good relationship with them. It makes about 3% in the checking account as long as I make at least 10 purchases with my debit card, which I do, and pay at least 3 bills with bill pay, which I use that to make my 3 or so credit card bill payments. So I get my 3% interest on my money in that bank account, and that's like my safety net bank account. So I make sure I always have enough in there to cover me in case, in case emergencies, in case I need to go buy a car. Well, it'd be a junker, or in case I lose a job and have to, pay rent for a few months. So that's my emergency fund in there as well. Now, some of my money, I should say, in that account, I transfer into a bigger national bank that gets, I believe, 4.5% interest in that account. And that's a savings account at like a big national bank. So if I get a bunch extra in my small bank, I transfer it into that bigger bank where it gets a little bit more interest and it's a little bit easier to move around into other investments from that bigger national bank because they have a better platform, I guess you could say, that works with more investment companies to move stuff around. It's faster and it gets a little bit better interest. So from there, where I usually move money from that savings account is into my Robinhood account, and that is my number one main investment, is my Robinhood account. Now, I always make sure to have plenty of brokerage cash in there because basically if I get a whole bunch in my, or not a whole bunch, but a pretty good amount into my big national bank account, I'll just transfer it into my Robinhood brokerage account because that gets 4.5% interest, and then you can buy stocks. And where I mostly have my stocks are dividend stocks. Now, there we go. So those are going to be more like long-term, stocks. Like none of the stocks I have are going to make me a whole bunch of money real quick. They're all like, real kind of slow, steady. Every time I get a dividend, it reinvests itself into the stock, and I just get more of the stock. And it's slow growth, but over time it's gonna pay dividends, as they say. So most of my stocks in Robinhood are dividend-paying stocks, not necessarily what they call growth stocks, which are, going to be not necessarily smaller companies, but companies that move up and down and, can give you a bigger return. So it's more long-term stuff. And let's see. What I'll do is have money in my brokerage account, in my Robinhood account, and when I'll check stocks, maybe not every day, but at least every couple days, especially when I hear the market's going to be low, because I don't really ever sell. What I'll do is I'll just have cash in my brokerage account at Robinhood, and when a particular stock that I own dips, I'll buy more of it. And I'm not saying just like dips, a few cents. I'm saying like I look at the one day, like say it's low for the day, Then I'll look at the week. If it's below its weekly, what it was a week ago, I'll be like, okay. If it's below what it was a month ago, I may get more of it. If it's below what it was all of those and 3 months ago, I will definitely buy more of it. So I check my stocks, and when they get low, I buy more of them. And I don't really ever sell. I just hold. Because like I said, most of my stocks are dividend stocks, and they're more like long-term investments than they are short-term. So another investment I have is my Arrived account. And that's basically real estate, but it's like group crowdfunded real estate kind of thing. And what I'll do with that is when they pay me their dividend at usually once a month, what I'll do is I will take that dividend plus some other cash, and I will just reinvest it. I'll buy more shares in, different funds that they have, or different properties that they have available on my Arrived account. Definitely, I'm not invested as heavily in Arrived as I am in my Robinhood account. Like, definitely not as heavily invested in that. But I do that. I do put more into that pretty much every month. Third thing. So I was interested in this company I kept seeing on Facebook called Boxable, and I bought some shares in that, and that's, I would say, probably the riskiest investment I've made, and still kind of waiting to see what happens with that. So that was kind of like a more speculation thing. The stocks were cheap. It's kind of a new company. Bought a bunch of them. We'll see what happens. That's like more speculation. I'm fully prepared that that company will fail and I will lose all that money. But it's okay. It was discretionary, expendable income. Another one is Bitcoin. Now, I have some Bitcoin in a wallet. I have not bought any for a while because Bitcoin is very expensive right now. But, if Bitcoin dipped very low again, I would buy more of it and put it in my Bitcoin wallet. But I do have some Bitcoin. Not like a whole Bitcoin by any means, but I mean, I've got some money in Bitcoin that I just kind of hold on to. And I'm looking in the future, we'll kind of see, to maybe get some land. That's going to be what I look at next. But I haven't, that's going to take some research, going to take some time, but that's going to kind of be my next thing. So, yeah, that's basically what I do with my money. I remembered a couple more things. So, I also have my IRA account through Robinhood, and I max it out every year. And same thing, I just have it in dividend stocks. But yeah, that's super long term because I can't even touch that till I retire. Also, I have a Masterworks account, which basically is crowdfunding art. And this is also very speculative, and I don't really put a whole lot into that. But I have a Masterworks account, so I'm invested in art. Bad art, if you ask me, but whatever. I'm not the one who says what art is good art, right? Because I ain't a fucking artist. But I have that. And then I have some old, 401ks. Back when I used to be a government employee. So, and I don't really touch those either. I just let them be. They're for retirement, which, seeing as I'm a millennial, will probably never happen, but, they're there. So, It is what it is. Money stuff. Yeah.